Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for being here today. Well, in this episode of The Imitation of Royal Life soap opera, we have Harry. Harry is getting more desperate to be back in the United Kingdom. He is desperate to reconcile with his family. And we all know this was to be expected. And the consequences now for him, because I think slowly but surely he is starting to understand he has gotten himself into a conundrum. He's finally waking up to the errors of his ways. Yeah, and he's desperate. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get into it. It's coming out in some news articles that Prince Harry has had genuine hope. He did have this genuine hope about ending this royal feud with William and Charles. This is what a source is telling us. Now, Harry has harbored these genuine hope feelings for quite a while. He is really hoping to reconcile with his brother and the king after publishing, we know, his memoir, Spare. Now, this is according to this article that I've been talking about on my last two lives when I talked about the Vanity Fair article, which did mention this. Now, Harry reportedly has confided in a guest at an event in 2023 that he had not received any contact from royal relatives since his book release. Duh! What you think? You think people are going to just contact you and say, well, why did you write that? So he hasn't heard from anyone, and there's no surprise there because, you know, in the real world, we understand you write an explosive book about your family and your sibling, your father, you know, they're going to probably disown you. Hello, wake up to the real world, Harry. Wake up to the real world, Harry. Just wake up, snap out of it. It's like, wake up. You can't seem to see what you're doing because you're blinded by your stupidness in the fog of that woman that you're next to who keeps feeding you a bunch of stuff that is just not giving you clarity of mind. You don't know what you're doing. Absolutely not. So we know this source told this publication, they said that that's sort of what made me so mad. His hope seemed very genuine. And I was just kind of like, oh no. It's like, yeah, what do you tell someone like Harry when, you know, he writes a book and you know, he tells you that he hasn't heard from his relatives. And what do you say? You say, oh no. Or do you kind of keep it real and tell him, you stupid. Like, didn't you know your family was probably going to disown you for doing this? Didn't you know this might not be a good thing to do? This man has a lot of learning to do. Absolutely. They added the power of the written word and the power of the narrative. I don't know if that's something he understood while he was doing it. And this is the thing, when I was reading this Vanity Fair article, it's almost like he's given a scapegoat, that he really wasn't in clarity of mind while he was writing his book. Like he really did not understand the consequences. Yeah, I don't believe that. But people want to give him an excuse to why maybe he did what he did, still expecting to hear from his family members. But I don't think there's really any excuse for doing that. You made a choice. You were persuaded, I believe, by your wife. There's many things that you've done, not just the book. What about the Oprah interview? What about the awards that you received, that you actually showed up to receive award about fighting racism within your own family? You see, so Harry has been blindsided by so many just ways in his life since moving to America. There's just no way for him to reconcile this now. I think it really is at the end of the road for him. Now, this guest suggested that Harry had not absorbed the gravity of publishing the memoir, which he wrote very explosive things about his family. I mean, you can't make this up. I mean, really, Harry, you have done something so egregious, and now you think you can make up with your family? I think there's hope to make up, but things will never go back to how they were. Now, among the bombshell claims were with the allegations that Prince William branded Meghan difficult, rude, and abrasive, and even pushed Harry into a dog bowl. So you are telling people in a book what your family said behind closed walls that are pretty negative towards your wife, and you think your family is going to reconcile with you. You are an idiot. Okay, moving on. So just over a year after Spears' release, Harry made a brief visit to King Charles in February of 2024 following his father's cancer diagnosis. Now, the 45-minute meeting marked their first formal encounter since Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in September of 2022. And then we know Harry went back 3 months later because the Invictus Games ceremony that he was going to attend. And then we know that at that time he wasn't even able to meet with his father because there were scheduling conflicts. There was just no room for Harry in his father's calendar. So that was pretty much a sign that, yeah, you know, Harry, go kick rocks. Sorry, I love you, but I can't be bothered with you right now. I'm dealing with cancer. And we all know about the reports that came out that say Camilla didn't want her husband, the king, to be stressed with any meeting with Harry. And so she's on the other end of that, protecting him, because we know he wrote very not so kind things about Camilla as well in his book Spare. So Harry's spokesman said at the time, the Duke, of course, is understanding of his father's diary of commitments and various other priorities and hopes that he will see him soon. Yes, let's just keep it all cordial. Oh, I understand. Okay, we'll have to just wait until next time I come here, you know, and yeah, let's just keep waiting, Harry. Just keep waiting. So in August of 2024, Harry and William were seen together, we know, for the first time in 2 years at their uncle Robert Fellowes' funeral. And there were reports that people saw them together, but they didn't speak, which I believe, if I must say something nice for a change, they were able to be cordial and not make it about themselves and their fighting or infighting, and they made it about the funeral, and they showed up, showed their respects. I think that was all good. And unfortunately, that silence between the brothers is going to have to be prolonged because this is not going to end anytime soon. Now, the pair are thought to not be on speaking terms since Harry released the controversial memoir. A source close to the couple revealed that Meghan has acknowledged her husband's social struggles since their move to America. That's right. Very social struggles are his regrets, I believe, because he's not going to struggle happily in the environment that Meghan has him in right now in California. He's definitely going to want to try to get some relationship going with his family because Harry is very lonely right now. Harry doesn't know what real life really is what someone was quoted as saying, and that is the reality. Harry was used to a life that was very conducive to a prince-like life, and now he is no longer a prince in the formal sense of the word. He is an everyday average American living in America as a foreigner, might be deported. And yeah, your life is going to give you a lot of blows right now. And I think when it comes to learning and going through hardships, this is exactly what Harry needs. He needs this. He needs to go through this struggle right now because I think it will make him a better person. It's going to make him stronger, but it's also going to give him the smackdown that he needs, this, you know, to show him, look, you messed up and there are consequences to your actions. Now, the article suggests Meghan acts as a caregiver to her husband, making his life so easy, while Harry serves as a facilitator of his wife's wishes. Do we see now how Meghan has turned Harry into the lap dog? The lap dog, you know, he is essentially somewhat relegated to a lifestyle that Otis has. I decide when Otis eats. I decide when he goes out. I decide what bedtime is. I do all these things for Otis. And Otis has relegated his life to what it is because that's what he expects. He's a dog. Okay? Harry thinks he's still a prince living a dog lifestyle because he is the lapdog of Meghan Markle. But he hasn't realized or woken up to it. I think slowly but surely he is starting to realize his life is being relegated to something other than a prince. Do you think that is happening to him now? Let me know in the comments. Kind of feels like she's reparenting him in a way, a former palace staffer has said in the publication. Now, the bombshell article notes Harry has drawn direct parallels between his late mother, Princess Diana, and Meghan, expressing fears of history repeating itself. And I can just leave on this note right here. No, Harry, your wife is not going to repeat what happened to your mother because Meghan was no Diana. She will never be a Diana. If anything, she's the complete opposite of a Diana. People ignore Meghan. People don't even try to get this woman's picture. You are trying to make your wife be this embodiment of what your mother went through, and it's a false equivalence. There's no comparison whatsoever. And this is the downfall of Harry right now, that he's trying to see some kind of savior complex within his wife where he can make up for what happened to his mother. He can try to make up for that via his wife, Meghan, and to try to see how he can harness something that can make him feel like he is needed. But the reality is he's not needed. He's nothing but a handbag. He's nothing but a lapdog sitting and waiting to do what Meghan tells him to do, while he thinks in his head that he is protecting this woman who is supposed to be like his mother. And that is that can be nothing further from the truth. That's just not it. Like Harry, wake up to your delusion. Snap out of it. Meghan is no Diana. You need to get your butt back in the United Kingdom and be a real prince. But it's going to be hard for you because I know you have regrets. I know life has turned your everything for you upside down. And I think at this point in time, just go through the suffering and suffer and realize the error of your ways and listening to your wife. Maybe at some point you'll stop listening to her and be a man and do what you know you need to do and tell your wife what she needs to do, which is go kick some rocks. And that's all I got to say. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.